So how does Staph aureus become methicillin resistant? What makes MRSA? And the answer is, it's all in the genes. The answer is, it's all in the DNA. In fact, resistance is caused almost entirely by changes in the DNA. Different types of changes, but usually 9 times out of 10, it boils down to the DNA of the bacteria. And MRSA is no different. So what happens when a Staphylococcus bacteria becomes a methicillin-resistant version is by acquiring a gene. It undergoes a genetic alteration, and it now acquires a gene that makes a protein that can elude the toxic effects of not just methicillin, but every single antibiotic that is in what is called the beta-lactam class, which is a huge class that includes all the penicillins, not just methicillin, which is no longer used clinically, but there are many other later generation penicillins that are, and MRSA is resistant to all of them, as well as the cephalosporins, which are a huge class of clinically very important antibiotics, and MRSA is resistant to all of them. And it is the production of this protein that can circumvent the toxic ability of those antibiotics. What about TXA-709? Can that protein evade TXA-709 as well? And the answer is no. The answer is no, because TXA-709 targets a different, unique protein, and it could care less whether that other protein that causes resistance to the beta-lactam antibiotics is there or not. Okay. But we're not out of the woods yet with TXA-709, because although TXA-709 is not susceptible to the same mechanism of resistance that causes MRSA, which is why it works against MRSA, nevertheless, it is possible for the MRSA to gain resistance to TXA-709. And it's possible that a mutation could occur in the FTSZ protein that TXA-709 targets. And that protein, that mutated protein, could potentially be resistant to TXA-709. However, in anticipation of this possibility, our team has come up with a combination regimen of TXA-709 with other antibiotics that completely circumvent that route of resistance. So even bacteria that have the potential of having this mutation in FTSZ that can cause resistance to TXA-709, if we combine TXA-709 with another antibiotic, it can overcome that potential, either minimize it or eliminate it entirely.